Okay, guys, react of the day. So, what now, Marvel? This is the title of the video. Very intriguing. Is it perhaps about the glory days of Marvel that have been long gone? Does anybody remember the Infinity Stones era of Marvel, bro? They were going in sicko mode. For real, for real. Hey, what's your favorite Avengers movie? Mine is Infinity War. It's not even close. That movie also had a great ending. That was a great movie. God damn, that was a great movie, guys. Do you remember how Mr. Stark? I don't feel so good.
Said before that 2025 was gonna go down as the make or break year, not just for Marvel and DC, but for superhero movies in general.
Oh yeah, let's not forget about the Black Panther, bro. The first one was way better than the second one. I'm not gonna lie.
The
The second one was a floparuski. Let me tell you that.
MCU desperately needed to get back on track after years of embarrassing flops and underperformers,
Oof.
while James Gunn had the challenge of rebooting and relaunching the entire DC universe on film. On the Marvel front, things didn't get off to a great start, that's for sure. Brave New World turned out to be a bloated, chopped up, embarrassing mess that flopped harder than a fat influencer on a high diving boards. Thunderbolts
I didn't even hear about the Brave New World. What was it? Is like the Captain America? Is that it? Where everybody was complaining that they got woke.
got a slightly better reception from fans.
Thunderbolts was definitely, everybody said it was bad. I didn't watch
Although-
it because I was already so disappointed in the genre that I was like, I'm not gonna even try it anymore.
Fuck knows why, but still failed to make any impact at the box office.
Yep.
That left Fantastic Four to redeem a
Pedro Pascal, will he save the Marvel Universe? The answer was a resounding no.
pretty disastrous year for the franchise. And well,
Yep. The reason for its flop is because, look, let's say you are a very successful franchise, right? Like Marvel in general. They were winning, getting win after win after win with all of their Avengers series, the Iron Man series. Thor was getting better. You had all of this coming in together, Spider-Man as well. And at some point, you know, Endgame comes up, the whole franchise is over. Most of the well-known, established actors are gonna, you know, resign from their roles as Captain America, as Iron Man, etc. Right? And you're left with a dying franchise. And what you do is you have to, in order to, you know, survive, you need to bring up the A game. And what they do instead is introduce us to this walk slope that nobody asked for, and they hit you with one of those, and you're like, that's shit. Hopefully the other one is not. Second one is shit. Third one is shit. You're like, at some point you ask yourself how many punches you can get hit with before you get knocked out from, and you get fatigue from this garbage slop ass. And by the time they release a good series, they release a good movie, such as the Fantastic Four, which I heard is pretty good, or the Thunderbolts, you already knock out. You are like, nah, dog, I already learned my lesson a year ago with Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2, Immortals, Madame Web. It just takes a few mistakes for the snowball to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually nobody will care about your franchise the same they didn't care about DC.
Fantastic Four is a fucking flop, just like all the other Marvel movies that have come out this year. Which is interesting because it was actually pretty well received by fans and critics. Damn man, even I enjoyed it and gave it a half decent review. It had a reasonably good opening weekend and solid word of mouth, so why did it fall off harder than Rachel
Like I said, it's because of the floparuskis before it.
Zegler's career? Well, dear viewer, Dr. Drinker is here with a big old batch of truth pills. They're gonna be bitter and hard to swallow, but just like I tell Tatiana, you'd better swallow them and keep them down or it's another 3 days in the hole for you. So, like, you're gonna edit that out later, right? Okay, cool. Anyway, I think the failure of Fantastic Four has been pretty useful in some ways because it's dispelled a few myths that people have been clinging onto for way too long now. Myth number one is that Marvel is ever going to come back, that all it'll take is the right movie at the right time to catapult the franchise back to the glory days of the 2010s.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
I mean, they can go back to the glory of the 2010s, but they have to once again build it up from the ground. That's it. There's not gonna be one movie. It's gonna be a series of successful movies, one after another.
Well, here's a reality check for you. That is never gonna happen. Yeah, they might still get the occasional hit, and they'll always have a core fan base they can rely on,
Yeah.
but the days of billion-dollar movies being practically normal are long gone, and they're not coming back. 500 million is rapidly becoming the number that most people are talking about, which would be fine if movie budgets actually reflected that reality. But with $2 or even $300 million on production alone still being standard practice, well, the numbers just don't add up, and no amount of positive
It's too much of a risk, to be fair. Having those crazy budget there's no point to spend that much money on a movie if you're not gonna make your money back, and if you're not gonna make your money back, you're fucked.
spin is going to change that. So why the hell did this happen? Well, partly because Marvel is a damaged brand by now. Their
Yeah, that is. I wonder why. I wonder what movie started this whole trend. I think it's been a while
fan base has gradually been
since they got a W. It's been a while.
driven away by half a decade of mediocre movies and shit.
Yeah, let's not talk about the series. The TV series, oof, flipperuskis. Who here remembers the Hawkeye show? The Hawkeye show. Yeah, I didn't either.
TV shows, preachy and divisive identity politics, formulaic storytelling, dated humour, and sheer media oversaturation. They got too successful, too complacent, and too lazy, and
Exactly. That's what happens when you have a monopoly on superhero movies, because DC was doing real bad comparatively, and they were like, okay, we have no competition, therefore we can shove anything we want down our fans' throat. And they did it once, they did it twice, they did it thrice, but how many times could you shove that shit down your throat until somebody says, I'm full, thank you, I don't want this shit no more?
they fell into the trap of thinking that they could just keep expanding forever.
Sheer hubris. Fucking hubris.
It really is hard to miss something that never fucking goes away, and it's even harder to get excited about it when it's
Yeah, the Loki also, bro. Loki was okay. First season, I watched the second season. It's like I watched a season of Doctor Who. That's how bad the CGI was for it. Oof.
basically the same experience every single time, only with different coloured spandex. Even a good Marvel movie at this point is like middle-aged sex in a stale marriage, less about the
True.
excitement and novelty of exploring new possibilities, and more about going through a series of familiar steps to reach the same predictable outcome. Myth
For
number
sure.
2 is that Pedro Pascal is a serious box office draw.
Hey, Pedro Pascal, everybody hating on him, but he's a decent actor, not gonna lie. Hey, you can hate on him because he appears on every show that you ever seen lately, but I gonna go ahead and say it. Solid actor.
Like, can we all just accept at this point that this guy isn't really gonna happen? And all the fun and media coverage and red carpet appearances in the world aren't gonna change that. Like so many other people, I've been trying to figure out why Hollywood's been pushing this increasingly insufferable, borderline creepy 50-year-old weirdo so hard, like he's this hot young talent taking the industry by
There's not that many actors that are well known in today's day and age like it was before. You had what is it? Bruce Willis, Schwarzenegger. You had the guy that plays Rambo. You had Brad Pitt. You had Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, who do you have as a name? Can somebody tell me? Who do you have as a name? Pedro Pascal, maybe. And apart from him, who else? Who else? Please enumerate. Where the new age actors are at, because I don't know anybody's name.
storm, and by George, I think I've got it. For whatever reason, Disney have made him a cornerstone of not one but two of their biggest franchises, Star Wars and Marvel. They've pinned a lot of their hopes on this guy. They desperately need him to be a star, so they've marshaled the entire Hollywood media machine behind him to try to make him a star. The problem is, well, he isn't, and he never really has been. He's a
What are you talking about? He was decent in Last of Us, right? He was in Narcos. That was pretty cool.
character actor at best, solid and talented for sure, but hardly spectacular, and gassed up
Oh yeah, and he was in the. Everybody liked him in the Game of Thrones, I guess. He died in a very funny way.
way beyond his league by insane overexposure. He doesn't have the charisma, the magnetism, the screen presence.
I am like, I don't know, man. Everybody to their own, right? In terms of tastes, I am not a big hater of Pedro Pascal, but I know there's a bunch of haters out there. This guy, he probably kind of hater, and he's like, oh, this guy is not Brad Pitt. Yeah, he isn't Brad Pitt, but Brad Pitt is the OG dog.
Or even the looks to be a top level draw, and he's too old to grow into the role now. 50 is normally the point where most actors' careers start to decline as middle age kicks in and the next generation of talent moves up to replace them. I don't really know why people expect his career to do the opposite, but somehow they do. Also, the meme of him being in fucking everything feels like it's evolved from a bit of niche good-natured ribbon on social media to actual widespread irritation now, proving the point that familiarity really does breed contempt. Myth number 3 is that superhero fatigue isn't a thing. Bad movie fatigue is.
Really?
Yeah, bad movie fatigue for sure. Ugh. And superheroes also in general, the genre itself, like if it's not an interesting movie to watch, you know, it's kind of cringe, especially the older you get. So you need to something to draw you in as a boomer, right? You're like, okay, why would I watch this? And doesn't help that they introduce all this woke agenda into it, because you're like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like Captain Marvel, oof, that was the beginning of the end.
Nope, superhero fatigue is absolutely a thing, and it's about time people accepted that. Movie genres rise and fall like the sun. Nothing stays popular and relevant forever, and after a quarter of a century of domination, the sun is well and truly setting on superheroes now. And by that, I don't mean they're ever gonna die out and disappear completely. Just like the comics that inspired them, there's always gonna be a core audience wanting more.
Yeah, but before it was like worldwide spread. So even the people that didn't like superheroes in general, they would still watch this because it was so popular. But now it's like, yeah, we kind of get the gist of it.
I mean is that general audiences, the people who bring in the bulk of the box office revenue, have lost interest and moved on to other things now. Superheroes aren't cool or compelling anymore. Yeah, the decline in quality and the saturation of the
Declining quality is a big factor.
market definitely speeded
Lower, like not so well-known actors playing in them could also be a factor for it as well.
the process up, but the truth is, it was gonna
And garbage storytelling as well.
happen eventually no matter what.
I guess,
Even
I
James
guess.
Gunn's Superman by James Gunn, the biggest and most iconic superhero of them all, is struggling to make much headway at the box office. The
For sure.
tentpole movie designed to kick off a whole new
I mean, bro, Superman. How many Supermans is enough? Movies do we gotta do until it's enough? Like, which Superman? Can you tell me which Superman is this? Superman 20, Superman 35? I don't even know, man. At this point, they make a Superman movie every now and then. It's like so cringe, because it's the same story over and over and over again, told with a bit of a small change between each of the iterations. Great success. This time around, Superman, you don't get it. Superman has a dog. Ooh, he didn't have a dog before. You need to watch this one.
cinematic universe, arguably a day late and $1 short, is currently sitting at $550 million a month after
Oh, whoa. He threw a piece of paper at you, bro. You gotta kill him.
release. At this rate, it's gonna struggle to even hit 600 million. That's not just a disappointment, that's a fucking disaster. DC wheeled out the biggest gun in their arsenal for this one. See what I did there?
Yeah, that
And it
was a
barely made
good
a
one.
dent. I mean, what kind of numbers do you think Supergirl or Clayface or
Supergirl. Who watches Supergirl, bro? Clayface? Is that a movie they're actually gonna do? That sounds horrible. Just don't do it.
Swamp Thing are gonna do if even fucking Superman can't draw big crowds? The harsh reality is that the cultural zeitgeist has shifted now, the audience has matured and changed, and they've left superheroes behind. All those outlandish outfits and crazy powers that were so cool and revolutionary 10 years ago seem kind of lame and dated now. A cultural holdover from a previous generation, lingering beyond its time, struggling for relevance in a world that's moved on without it.
I don't know, man. I think the superhero movies could be still compelling if told in a good way and acted by very well-known actors. For example, if there was a superhero movie in which, I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio would be playing in, I would watch the shit. I would watch the shit every time of day. I'll eat that shit like it's no tomorrow.
So where do we go from here? What does the future hold for superhero flicks? Well, like I said earlier, there is still a way for superhero movies to carry on and turn a profit for the studios, but it has
They will always do. I mean, they just gotta decrease the budget. Like hundreds of millions is a bit of a, is a stretch.
to be based on the understanding that the market is smaller and tougher now. If 500 million is the best you can hope for at the box office, then you need to start slashing your budgets big time.
Obviously.
100 million is where most superhero movies want to be sitting now, which means leaner and meaner productions, cutting down on expensive VFX and big name actors, and focusing more on quality writing. It really comes down to a choice between managed decline or complete implosion. It all sounds pretty
I
obvious,
suppose.
because it is, but sometimes things that seem obvious to normal people like us seem to sail right over the heads of Hollywood executives. I don't know if they can or will change, but one thing's for sure, superhero movies as we've known them for the past 20 years are over. Whether this means the start of a new era or a complete collapse of the whole genre, only time will tell.
I think the superhero movies will still be going on for a while now, but they're gonna decline quality, that's for sure, by a lot, because their budget is gonna be lower, and yeah, people will say, this movie is great, I don't understand why people don't watch it anymore. It's simple. Like he said, people are starting to get tired of this bullshit.
Anyway,
And unless it's a gem, and it's just, it's slightly above average movie. Ooh, I mean, for Marvel, especially with the shit that they released in the past few years, I guess a bit above average is insane quality for them.
that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Okay, I'm going away. I'm going away. So yeah, like I mentioned, bro, Marvel is on a decline. It's like Marvel was like this, vroom, 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 and it all culminated with Avengers Endgame, and since then, going down for a while now, and it's in the slums. And they might release a movie that was decent by the standards of the Avengers era. But by today's era, after you fell so down in the gutter, ain't nobody care about your shit. So fuck off and give me a good movie. Not some garbage, above average, Fantastic Four, whatever, Thunderbolts. I don't care.